welcome back to the AI for India podcast. We are here with another exciting edition of the podcast, and today we have two very interesting guests with us, Kshitij Sharma and Salil Manekar. They are the co founders of Paralaxiom, a company that is driving innovation in the surveillance space in India. What does it do exactly? Well, I'll let the founders tell you themselves, but first, a small introduction. Kshitij Sharma is Paralaxiom's managing director and CEO. He's a seasoned engineer with 2 decades of rich experience in everything from software development to deep learning to computer vision to enterprise software. He has served as CTO for two deep tech startups, solving complex problems in the domain of machine vision, which makes sense because of the mission statement of his company. And Salil is the co-founder of Paralaxiom, of course, and he's CEO. He also has 2 decades of experience in the space, doing everything from software development to analytics to business intelligence. He has worked with a variety of companies. He's worked with Dell EMC, Motorola, Think3, and I think they both. Did you guys both meet in IIT Bombay? Because I feel like you guys might have met there.
Yes.
Okay, they're both graduates from IIT Bombay, and over to you guys to talk a bit about what the company does and how you guys kind of. I hope this wasn't something that you guys came up with during college one night.
No. So no, we did not. So first of all, right, thank you for having us here. Pleasure to be here and talk to you about AI in general and obviously our journey as well, right? So at a very high level, we are an AI and ML based platform. We essentially monitor. We essentially do monitoring of live CCTV cameras, and we do it because a normal human being who sits in front of a camera essentially loses all of his or her interest in about 20 minutes. So in about 15 or 20 minutes, about 99% loss of attention happens for a human being. But obviously, incidents happen at a very different pace. Correct. Apart from this, so what we do is we have our agents. We have video AI agents that monitor this, and then they generate real-time incident alerts. They generate reports. They generate enough and more metadata to audit safety processes, security processes, and most importantly, generate insights for driving operational excellence. Okay, that's essentially what we do. We started this company about 6.5 years back. It's about December of 2018 is when we started this. But obviously, we have been friends for quite some time, and we know each other since 1993. And we have been almost next door neighbors since 2010. Right, so we've kind of brainstormed on different trends of technology over all of this period of time, and we have been doing a lot of brainstorming on deep learning and how does image processing work since almost 2014, 2015. And finally we decided that good time for us to jump into this. Both of us were in good corporate careers before. I was working for Cisco at the time, and Salil was working with Dell. But we kept talking about these areas. So we started this. We figured out what the technology is, and we built our minimum viable product that we took to the market. We found that obviously sales is a big area for us. Both of us come from a tech background, so we tapped into our own alumni network, and we found our third co-founder. He's on a different call. There's a customer call which is going on right now, and he's a little junior to us, and he handles sales. So that's where we were. Now, if you look at CCTV is the most important sensor around all of us. We can talk about motion sensors, temperature sensors, and everything, but everywhere, wherever we look, it's because of our eyes. We see more than we touch and things like that, right? So CCTVs are around everywhere. They are in hospitals, they are in industries, they are in our street corners, they are inside our apartment complexes, right? So when all of these things happen, we rely on a lot of data from CCTV, but a lot of this information is based on postmortem. We wanted to change it with our AI agents. So that's when we started reaching out to every different kind of industry. So we went to hospitals, we went to educational institutions, we went to restaurants, but we found our current success, and we are still a small startup, this focus area. We found our success in the area of manufacturing and warehouses. So our current set of customers include Tata Motors, Skoda, POSCO Steel. We are live in APM terminals, which is a part of the Maersk's group. This is the Gujarat Pipavav port that is there. So that's at a very high level what our journey has been, and we have navigated through technology. Once we got the technology working, we are now navigating through the business aspects of it, which is equally interesting for us, given that we are taking a deep tech part of it from a pure technical point of view to an end customer who doesn't care what deep tech is, but if it really wants his or her problems to be solved.
I will add to what Kshitij said, right? We save lives, and we basically ensure that places are safe. That makes a huge difference to an organization, to the safety first organization. So our AI agents actually do that.
Well, that's a great elevator pitch to have. We save lives. You walk into the door, you immediately have everyone's attention. That's fantastic. So, at what point did you guys, though, was there a personal connection to it in any way? Did you guys, was there a eureka moment where you guys like felt that there was a need for, enhanced, CCTV safety, or was it just, anecdotally through research that you guys found out, or was there like a personal case that happened, someone you knew, or something like that?
So yeah, so couple of things happened, right? So first of all, I from my engineering point of this seems like a new technology, right? But the newer part of newness is the GPU part of it. AI and neural networks have existed since 1950s. All right, and my BTech project in 1997 was on OCR of Devanagari script. Okay, I was trying to do this on a small machine which had 120 MB of hard disk and 4 MB of RAM, and I'm not saying GB, I'm saying 4 MB of RAM, right? That's when all of this started. Obviously, this all took place when it came to GPU part of it. There was no personal problem as such. It's just that this technology was new and both of us were pretty excited about it. All right, and I started tinkering around with Google TensorFlow. I took one of Salil's photographs and I ran TensorFlow on it and essentially said, look, you are a person, you are wearing glasses, this is your t-shirt. All right, now what do you want to do with it? Right, so that's when he said, okay, where do people see most? We said CCTV. So ठीक है, then we will create something for CCTV cameras for live moment. At that point in time, there's an incident that happened inside our apartment complex where somebody's car got vandalized. All right, so this gentleman sat next to the CCTV camera going through 8-hour footage of seeing where his car was parked and if there was a person close to the car. All right, we said, look, essentially the idea is that if you give a machine a CCTV footage, the machine is going to find out where the car is and where is the person next to it in matter of minutes rather than sitting through the whole video for 8 hours. So that's when we realized the power of automation. All right, and the power of humans being assisted by automations. So that's what kind of was there for us.
So if you think about it, right, this this is a big data problem, right? The 8 hours of video at 25 frames per second, you can think of so many frames you're looking at. Solving that 8 hours thing in 8 minutes, it's an awesome thing for technology, right? That's where we are going towards.
Wonderful. What you said earlier about, your finding the solution. It kind of reminded me, I'm sure at the summit, you guys must have met Dr. Venkat and Mr. Krishnan,
Yes.
authored this book, Co-Intelligence. So it sounds very much in line with that. It's, kind of a tag team between a person and AI in terms of solving this problem. But anyway, as you guys evolved, and you said, manufacturing kind of was how you guys kind of started this off, and it's still one
Correct.
of the prime areas that you guys are working in. As you guys, kept going on this, what are some of the other sectors that you have seen that have shown a lot of interest in this technology where you're working right now? And what kind of, customers do you guys typically land up working with? Is it, more government? Is it more industry? Is it, I'm sure there's a lot of use cases from, residential areas as well.
Correct. So yeah, we started with manufacturing, right? We are poised to get into hospitals area as well. We do have customers in residential complexes as well. So all of these places have their own set of unique problems. The engineering below it remains the same. It is just that you're looking through CCTV cameras and finding objects, but very interesting use cases when it comes to a residential area. Our product is live in the uh, one of big apartment complexes here in Bangalore. It's a Tata plant, and it's in the middle of, even though Bangalore, you may think of it as a concrete jungle. Okay, it is really not. There is a lot of trees around and lot of foliage around. So this place is in the middle of a little bit of area which is a buffer area, and people jump through boundary walls and all of those things. Okay, so this is really a security problem. That is the place where our models work, because they work very well based on existing cameras, and they don't just give you motion detection and things like that, where a lot of errors can happen, but we actually detect persons properly at a very high 99.9% accuracy, right? So think about it. Skoda factory also has a very similar problem. Foliage, boundary wall. All right. So in one place we work with apartment complexes and their RWAs and their and those set of customers. Then we work with security managers on the other side, who are in case of factory. Obviously, within factories there is there's a safety department as well. So we work with safety managers. As we said, we save lives there, because we give, if there is an accident which is going to happen, or there is a possibility, we give an immediate and on the fly alarms, and there's a hooters which is put up there. So these are the set of peoples that we work with. We haven't worked with government so far, although government is a very, very big use case. It's just that the size of our organization right now, we don't work with the government. But there are various places where we have bid for projects, for example, smart cities, where we are looking at crowding in an area, person standing alone in an area with a distress call, so that a person comes in front of the camera, put the hands up and says, okay, I need help, and things like that. Vehicle movements, where are hotspots in terms of traffic, and which things like which lane is blocked, etc. This is where our use cases essentially are.
You missed one part. We have deployments in commercial buildings also. So the
Yes.
facility managers are also one of our great users of our product. As to if somebody is going into an area which they are not supposed to go, right? Like generator area, or somebody loitering in the terrace area at night, or somebody sudden crowding happening in certain driveways, things like that, right? So those are indications of anomalies, and they would want to actually know that very right then and there, as soon as possible. And of course, footfall, etc., are part of our product itself, and they use that to a great extent.
Interesting. What I found very fascinating about, what you guys do, which is video surveillance as a service, as you guys put it on your website, is that I feel like, a lot of AI use cases, they're still very much in development. Let's put it that way. And yours feels like, something that feels like a very natural use case that not enough people mentally already associate with AI, right? Right now, you talk to people with around AI, they're all thinking about generating images or getting answers in real time, but this is something that's already out there, and that's already solving a massive issue, and it's much before the hype cycle, I think, in a way.
Correct.
So I think that's amazing. So while developing this, what were kind of the major challenges or hurdles that you guys faced?
Sure. Very good question, and very, very relevant problem as far as AI and machine learning is concerned. Any machine learning solution needs massive amount of data, and the massive amount of data that is required is basically one of the first issues that anybody faces. When we started developing our solutions for factories, we had to train the model to tell what a hard hat looked like and what a jacket looked like. So when you go on Google and you start searching for these images, you find individual images of a hard hat, not on essentially a person's head, all right, not in the same context as where you are. All right. And when you take that data set and start training the model, the accuracy is very, very bad. The accuracy is about 70%. All right. If you take any of the existing models, and this is where we also feel challenges from our customers who think that, everything is available on Google. All right. And so people say, oh, why do you need this? You can go to Google and you can download images. So that was the first level of challenges that were there. We had to convince our end customers saying, we are going to train this model for you. All right, in your context, inside your premises, and within your privacy framework. Okay, so a company who's a large manufacturing company is not going to allow any of its CCTV footage to go out of their premises. They have their own security problems, they have their own information issues, it's all there. They won't allow to do that, they won't allow us to do that. So how do we do it? That was a challenge. That's the challenge that we solved. We essentially took the data within the entire privacy policy of the company, very, very strict NDAs to be signed with the end company. All right, and then you develop those models, and then you give 99.9% accuracy. All right, that there are few companies which started with this. When they started, they took a chance on us. All right, but when this model passed the muster, then the companies started opening up. All right, so then we told them, look, you give your NDAs, you give your disclosure agreements, you essentially say this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do, and we will work within your frameworks. That's when it was very good. Now there's something that I have put on my LinkedIn as well. There was one company that we were working with, and the company said, it was an agri tech company, and they said, we wanted to count how many mango trees are there. Okay, so I said, okay, look, there is a drone, you fly the drone and you see this. Okay, so I said, okay, give me drone images, I'll train for this thing, I'll train for models. So this was being, mango crop was being counted. I said, I want drone images, like fly the drone 15-20 times and give me all the gigabytes of data that you have. So there's a junior engineer over there, and she mentioned that, take it from Google. I said, okay, I'll take it from Google. But you know what? Google images are not going to be great. She said, no, let me show you how to do this. Okay. She went and put mango crop top view in Google, and would you believe what happened?
I think I know where the story is going, but go on.
So there is an apparel company called Mango, and the crop tops of those mangoes of those images came, and then that was the conversation that was there, right? But yes, we have essentially been able to tell our end customers what we need, and they have been very helpful. This has been a very evangelizing journey for us to tell people how to collect data, what to do with it. And that is where also we have become great at. We are great consultants for our end company, for our end customers, because we tell them how to collect data, take data, store data securely, and what is the entire pipeline all the way to a model building.
Wonderful. So just, basis that. So my question is, how long does it typically, because you mentioned that, you kind of customize the model and train it on the company's own data. So, I would say that's part of perhaps, your onboarding process in a way.
Correct.
So how long does that typically take?
So yes, we have become good at it over a period of time, and now for us, in order to collect data and create a new model, it is typically right now just about 8 to 12 weeks process. This is because we have tested and tested and tested, and then practiced and become good at it. So right now, whenever we go into any new place, so for example, we were doing a POC at a at in Saudi, all right, at a restaurant. So we essentially worked with a local set of partners over there, and they put up a machine, and then we collected data from there. It took us about 8 weeks to get a model which was extremely accurate as far as hairnets and gloves are concerned. Hairnets, masks, and gloves are concerned in a restaurant scenario. So workers who are there, they should be able to we should be able to see whether they are following rules or not.
So this is for something new, creation of something new, Karan. For the things that we already have, right? Like persons and hard hat and jackets and that data set. For around 50 cameras, we need 1 week to go in and come out and give the training and finish the deployment and handover.
Right.
So standard use cases, it's just 1 week journey for us.
Understood. So 1 week and then a bit longer, 8 to 12 weeks if it's a custom use case that you guys haven't done before.
Correct.
So in this whole process, when I think when I was going through the website, also one of the things you guys mentioned is that and we mentioned in the beginning of this conversation as well. The average person, can't spend that much time looking at the camera and concentrating. But it also then saves companies the cost of hiring multiple people to look at those cameras. So at an average, what kind of have you advantages have you seen for companies that have deployed your technology? Have they seen a reduction in their overhead costs in terms of manpower? Have they seen any increases in efficiency that you guys can talk about?
Yes, of course, yes. That has been care. So at the moment we are anyway doing we are right now doing about 10,000 plus cameras live monitoring 24 bar 7. All right, that's where we are. And during this whole process, we log incidents, and our customers have essentially seen almost close to 90% reduction in near misses. So what happens is at a lower level, so there's a pyramid. Okay, there are near misses. These are basically small incidents, but if you start ignoring them, they get into something big. All right, so at the bottom of the pyramid is essentially your people going into wrong areas, your vehicles coming too close to persons while in movement, your forklift and person distance is very less. So these are the kind of things that essentially happen. But if you keep ignoring these near misses, at the top you will have a person who's lying down on the ground because that person has been hit, right? So you have to find that out. So it's a near misses that you essentially do. So we have found reduction of almost 90% as far as near misses is concerned. Two parts: a, we do not just do monitoring, we essentially provide real time information, and then we give enough and more data to the companies who essentially are doing planning. Okay, so all the way from safety manager to the CIO levels, right? So that's where we have been helpful. And you people use our videos in order to do training to new employees, or keep doing safety trainings. So rather than creating situations, they actually go to our notification dashboard, show a notification what should not have been done. All right. So that improves the culture of safety and security in our end customers' premises.
Got it. I think that puts it very clearly. So thank you for that. So one thing I wanted to understand that I was actually excited to understand from you guys is that when you're training, a model for something like video surveillance, I assumed it would just be video data that they have to kind of be trained on. But you guys mentioned images a lot in our conversation today. When you were giving the example of the mangoes, for example. So, what kind of data do your models get trained on? Is it a combination of text, videos, and photos? How does that work? And how much more difficult is it to say train a model on video, then audio, then text?
Sure, sure. So there is complexity in every image processing or text or LLM models, right? That complexity cannot be compared apples to oranges. There's no apples to apples comparison there. So we do train our models on images as well as small short duration videos. All right. We are in the process of creating video LLMs, which essentially take short duration videos of 10 seconds and 7 seconds and essentially say, this is the anomaly that is happening. So, for example, if a person is crossing a road while there are vehicles, this 10-second video would essentially say, person crossing at not a zebra crossing or something like that, right? So those are the notifications that would come out. So this is done both as images are basically the frames that we collect from videos, as well as short 10 seconds and 7-second videos as well. All right. We directly don't do text only processing because that's not what our part is. But lately, what we have been doing is we have been not just looking at images, but also at sound that is coming from microphone enabled CCTV cameras. So if there is shouting that is happening in a given place, and if there is anything anomalous there, some of our competitors in the US have started using these voice essentially microphones to detect for gunshots. And if you have 2 to 3 CCTV cameras in a given place, you can actually triangulate where the gunshot is coming from. Thankfully, we are in a country where gunshots are not that common. all right, so in schools and other places, but this is one area of technology as far as uh, voice, that is videos and voice together is concerned. So yeah, that is what.
Great. I think that clarifies it for me. One question I also wanted to ask, just building on my previous question, was for you guys, of course, right now, a lot of your training happens through data provided by your clients. Is that correct? But, today, I think a lot of startups, the challenge they're facing in creating models or use cases in India is a lack of data. So, even in terms of video data, I think today there is a dearth, and there's a challenge for, someone who's trying to build something from scratch right now. You guys have been closely associated with AI for India for a while. The audience also, if they've been watching this regularly, they're aware of the Data Dan campaign that's being run to kind of encourage people to, and organizations more importantly, to donate their data for, training of models and things of that sort. So, can you guys speak a bit about the need for that and why that's important?
Sure, sure. So I'll first talk about real data versus generated data, right? There is a lot of data which people generate, and there is a lot of synthetic data that comes in. All right. So there's
For someone who doesn't know, can you explain what synthetic data is?
so real images is something that you catch from the CCTVs. Real data, where people are walking around, etc. Synthetic data is what you can use AI to generate that data from other different algorithms, and essentially do that. Uh, one so let's say that you have a dog or an animal moving around in a given place, right? It's a it's a setting of a village, or let's say a jungle, but you want to really get data for dogs in a street scenario, right? So what do? So you can actually take the image of an animal in the forest and then superimpose it in a city format. Okay, so that's basically synthetic data. We do believe in synthetic data, but we don't rely purely on synthetic data. We believe synthetic data is more about research and to proving and to getting an MVP into place. So you want to prove your point, you want to get a minimum viable product out. Synthetic data is great, but if you want to get accuracy in real scenario, in real context, then you absolutely need real data and proper data. All right. So that's the difference that is there. When we came in, so Salil, you want to talk about Shashi, how you know Shashi, and
Sure,
how you got in touch with Alok?
correct. I'll take a step back actually, right? Kshitij was mentioning that we partner with companies, right, in their digitization journey, right? So what that means is basically telling them from how to collect data, when to collect data, what all data to collect, and what what strategy will make the models the best, what strategy will make the application the best for them to adopt in their AI journey. Okay. So that is from the organization's point of view, that is where the data is the important part. And our first discussion starts with an organization talking about this one. And why? Because we know that, okay, this is a known story for a long time in computer science, and garbage in, garbage out. The same story goes in for AI. If you give wrong data for the model to train, you'll get wrong results. It's as simple as that. And hence, our focus on data is extremely high. Now, coming to the idea of the how we are working with AI for India, right? So Shashi is our college mate, senior, and we again met after a few years after college. We were in touch once in a while, but uh, we told him what we do in AI, and then he said, "Can you work with AI for India to do India-specific models?" What India-specific models mean here is India-specific, the models which are made on India-specific data. For example, people wearing cap, matlab the Gandhi topi I'm talking about. People wearing kurtas, people wearing pajama, people wearing dhoti, burqa, sari are not available in other data sets in the world, right? That is very specific to India. The cycle rickshaws, the Hath Gadi, etc., etc. So what we have done for a project with AI for India is collected data from uh, urban, semi-urban areas and annotated them so that this data can be actually used for various purposes. For students, creating model. For companies, I mean, AI for India is a not for profit organization, right? You know that, and they could actually give it for further research. Where we have also made a model for AI for India which people can use, and we have actually how do you put that? We have actually said that people can use our platform to showcase this thing to anybody who may need to see these things. Okay. Now, this is where Shashi and Alok came into picture and said how to do that along with Kshitij, me, Shashi, and there is another gentleman called Mr. Ram. We created the idea of how to streamline this process, how to get the videos, how to give proper credit to the appropriate people, organizations who give this data, how to ensure that the safety of the data is and traceability of the data is uh, ensured, right? So this whole process takes good amount of thought. It is not just okay, take this data and dump it in a drive and start distributing to people. Because go ahead, Kshitij.
So the traceability part of it and the necessary tags are important. So obviously, traceability means where did we obtain this data from? Who owned this data before us? Like, who donated this data to us, right? Their names, etc., would be are essentially important. You can't just go and steal somebody else's data, right? We can't do that. Now, what is the setting of this data? Is it a street setting? Is it a road setting? Is it a market setting? What kind of people are in there? All right, all of these things are tags that are associated with. Is it a daytime data or a nighttime data? All right, is there a lot of noise and backlight in this data? These are the kinds that we have also tagged for it. In the absence of such an India specific data, the models that are trained on Western data set do not do any justice to Indian settings. And again, repeat of something that we have told before. Uh, uh, a, a lady wearing a sari moving around in a Western model gets recognized as a motorcycle. Okay, these are all very non-intuitive things, but the moment you start looking at it, say, oh, this is a lady, this is a gentleman in dhoti kurta. All right. Now, with India specific data that we have, we can actually work on demography. We can actually look at whether this is a kid, whether this is a lady, this is this a gentleman moving around in a street, and think about how many different options you could have in our malls. If you rely on demographic models available for West, you would do big harm to the the same Marks and Spencers in Dubai. Right. In Dubai, they need to look at Dubai specific persons and how they dress versus how we do that in India versus how do they do it in Europe. Right. So this kind of geography, classification, etc., is extremely important for India specific data set. Alok's main problem was, how do I find out a guy wearing a red t-shirt in a crowd? There's a public safety question. All right. So again, you would be able to do re-identification of a person with a specific apparel, wearing specific types of clothes in a given crowd settings in India. So that's what we are trying to enable with AI for India dataset. For that, terabytes of terabytes data is required, and that's where data dan would come in handy for us, for all of us. It's a great initiative there.
Thank you, and I think it's a great, effort from your sides as well. So thank you so much for that. I think what you guys are doing will be very helpful to a lot of aspiring startups and
Absolutely.
researchers in this country. As we look towards wrapping up this conversation, I just wanted to ask you guys, a simple question. You guys have been working in the AI space for a long time, and what you guys have created is, for me, very reminiscent of action movies and sci-fi movies, and the things they have, where you see the one guy on a computer system and he's identifying people just by looking at the video footage. So that to me is very futuristic. What for you guys are the next, what are the AI use cases of the future that you guys are excited about? Where do you see this technology going, and especially in an Indian context?
So see, we are looking at each AI agent with video, text, and sensor data. That together has to come up. All right. And this is not just in a context of an industry, it is in the context of all different types of industries, in context of ports, in context of highways and all of these different places. We have the amount of population that we have, the amount of people that are moving around, versus the amount of uh, safety and security initiatives that are required to keep this entire population safe is extremely important. So whether it is accident prevention on highways, whether it is accident preventions on general roads in a given scenario, I would like to look at it from a hygiene point of view, right? That create data set for garbage all over a city and find out if somebody is dumping garbage on it. So at the end of the day, this is about aiding ourselves and improving the standard of living that we have here, ensuring that we are all happy in our cities. We talk about ease of doing business, ease of living, and things like that. This is the place where we need to make a difference.
The simple thing what Kshitij mentioned earlier, right? You can figure out traffic hotspots, and basically the AI agents should be able to say what should be done about it. Okay, uh, garbage you already mentioned, water problems in urban, semi-urban areas, right? With respect to sensors, all of these are for future and should be used. Is our goal. Uh,
Correct.
it's not just that we may be able to do that. Our competitors, our well-wishers should also be doing that. That is the
Correct.
whole aim.
Right. And CCTV is just one way of looking at this data. There are drones, there are different types of sensors, there's satellite imagery. All right. All of this needs to work together, and each of this is a separate AI agent. So you think about it. There are tens of thousands to 100,000 AI agents which are there. They need to work in tandem. We are just a small part of it. We are an important part of it, but if you think of a scale, if you think of all of these things, you think of a dash cam on top of a car. All right, people have been using GoPros, but now dash cams are a part of the part of lot of cars. Why can't we use those, and why can't we have AI agents which are associated with those? All right,
And hopefully we'll have those in the near future. With the way things have been moving, you never know when it might be a reality. Uh,
absolutely.
but thank you both for your time, and thank you for your contributions to Data Dam. It was lovely speaking with both of you, and I look forward to speaking with you guys again. Hopefully,
Sure.
once we have dash cam videos as well added to the mix.
Yep. Cool.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you.